Hello, chat. Is it working? Is it? Come on. Show me the song. Hello. It'd be a little more of a laid-back stream. OBS, hello. Ding. Ah, there we go. Oh, it's a little bit of good metal tonight. Because his covers go insanely hard. Hi! Ah. I might need to cut down the music a little bit, but... Oh, sweet! I need to plug shit in and decide on oh yeah, it's a pretty late night stream for me anyway, but I promised, and when I make a promise in the fucking thing in the community tab, by God, I want to keep it. This is the cord that doesn't work. Hello. Where are the cords that actually work? I can't do this dog shit tonight. That's USB-C to USB-C. These are my headphones. What? Where did I put it? That's that. This is that. What is this? Yep, there it is. I'm gonna mute for just a moment. Making horrible nose noises. It might come back. Oh, encoding overloaded. Shut up! You're plugged in. So, since my brain is full of Kirby tonight, do we still have it? Let me check. I might still have it. Yep. My other doodles. Might turn down the, goodness. Yeah. My work space. Actually, my coffee. I don't have a goal right now, so I just haven't used this in a while. I have sinus demons. I don't know where they came from. They just showed up out of nowhere. Man. Stabilization's a little too high. Behold, stuff. So, one of the things... Should I use a black pencil? Might be kind of hard for y'all to see. I lighten up the BG a little bit. I should make my eraser bigger. As if I'm just gonna be scribbling and using this as like a visual demonstration. So, one of the things that has been tormenting me lately. Let's zoom in a bit. I have had... Actually, I should probably just go and grab example images. Sinus demon exorcised. Hopefully no more gross noises will be coming through the mic. Right as the Forgotten Land riff comes in. Are you gonna work for me? Copy image. Are you gonna cooperate? There you are. Elfie! Elphalis! What the heck are they? And I've seen a bunch of different... Come on. Come on, YouTube. Smooth streaming. Shut. Am I doing the... Did I do the thing again? My brain's gonna brain for a sec. BRB. Nope, that's how it is. Oh. Let me boot that back up. So, whatever the hell Elphalus is, it has been on my mind lately. Because stuff, the whole shit about the wibbly space between universes has also been on the mind lately. OBS doesn't say it's dropping frames, but it's... we'll see. So the spaces between universes is still relevant to the Kirby setting because a lot of other shit. And it's home to all sorts of weird critters that's kind of spring fully formed out of the primordial chaos. And they're, because another dimension is just like that, just fully suffused with magic as like an intercosmic medium. The critters are weird. I looked shit up on Tumblr just to see what some other fans were up to, at least in that space. And there were different headcanons all over. Some saying that this wasn't Elphalus's original form. This is after they've absorbed a bunch of shit from the Beast Pack, like they did in the Fecto Forgo fight immediately preceding this. Another fun one was, someone figured Elphalus attacked the planet that would become the Forgotten Land because of, they were paranoid. Like the Fermi paradox, one of the, suggested solutions to that was the Dark Forest hypothesis, which is where, aliens are fucking scared as shit of anyone. I'm loud, sorry. They're fucking scared as shit of, like, anyone that could possibly, like, be out there. And so, they instinctively attack anything that tries to make contact as a threat. And the idea was that Elphalus was paranoid enough that whatever civilization was there, they caught wind of it, and they were like, oh fuck, oh shit, they're gonna kill me. Because of the Fermi paradox hypothesis. And, I saw someone make up, like, Inktober-style monthly challenge called Fectober, where they made a bunch of different members of the species, and then raffled them off as adoptables to other people. I've seen some people reuse Fecto in their OC's names. I've seen some people omit it entirely. One of the ideas I had was that because they live in between universes, they just kind of go around doing their own thing in these little nomadic tribes. And one of the things I was having an issue with was, is Fecto the species? Or is it their clan name? The name of the little, tribal conglomeration that they run around, another dimension in. Sorry, I'm eating slices of cheese. And I'm leaning towards Fecto being their clan name, because that means if I make more OCs of the species, that means I can get a little silly with it. I actually saw another funky headcanon. Oh, hey, that's very appropriate. Appropriate music. I might actually crank that shit just a bit. And, someone, like, so there's that one thing where Magalore said he wasn't Halcandran in that one, new dialogue in DX. Now, I'm not subscribing to that. I'm assuming that's a combination of him lying again, just compulsively lying out of his ass, and also a bit of crown poisoning. So Magalore's still Halcandran, but someone else took that idea and ran with it, and posited that, actually, Elphalus represents what the Halcandrons were like, and in this theoretical headcanon, Fecto was like the last surviving Halcandron, which was an super interesting take, because the Kirby fandom, Kirby lore is sparse enough and non-specific enough that Kirby fans can just kind of do whatever the fuck they want headcanon-wise, and result in wildly different world building, and all of it's awesome, and all of it's, like, basically canon compliant. Not 100% all the way through, but we all have our gripes. I have been thinking about these little guys for a bit, and I think I want to lean the generic name I was thinking for them has been kind of shaking out to Ether Walkers. I feel like that's almost too generic, but like it fits. But also, technically anyone who gets stranded in another dimension is walking the ether. And that name could just as easily apply to the Sphere Doomers. And their weird little other dudes that share that same, like, glowy texture. Another thing that I had to consider going on was, I should probably get off my ass. I'm talking about my Kirby headcanons. I'm talking about bullshit I made up about Kirby, and bullshit I am making up on the spot about Kirby, and bullshit that I haven't made up yet, but I am trying to. I do this shit for fun, because I'm a loser. It's fun. It's great. I'm eating slices of provolone, and I just finished them, so I won't be fucking mukbang smacking my lips into the mic anymore. Another thing I had in mind, that's been on my mind lately is, what the hell does Ether Genesis look like? She's supposed to be the existence, light side counterpart to Void Termina, and together they make, like, the pillars of this little, headcanon multiverse. And Void is just Void. He just has a canon design outright. He's got the funny mask. And it's just kind of, like, stapled onto a funny body. He's kind of all over the place. He, like, combines a bunch of, like, dude has human arms. Oversized human arms. He's got, like, rhino feet, and he's, like, human from the waist to the neck, except his arms are really huge. And then he's got, like, a weird bird mask and a mane of feathers and, like, ram horns. Not really ram horns, they kind of sweep back. But what does that have to do with the Void? I mean, I didn't really develop the Void. It's gonna be a whole stream? Yes. This is one of those weird chill-out streams where I just ramble about shit. But some of the ideas I had... I'm gonna do world's shittiest Void. Hang on. But, some of the things I was thinking, the initial concept that I had in mind for Ether Genesis was, like, generally similar build to Elphalus because of the nature of the Ether Walkers. And how they're probably some of the most powerful, like, pure ether living entities out there. But also I don't want to just have her look like one, because the weird hybrid shit is kind of the point. So I keep thinking of her as like this, kind of like a, that's not, just trying my stabilization up. I'm gonna, it's been a while since I've drawn digitally, so. So kind of like a teardrop, like conical head with a spherical back. Maybe that eraser is too big. That's more like it. But I don't really want her to have the same silhouette as Elphalis, mainly because the big fucking wing ears are cool, but I don't think they're necessarily a species-wide trait. I think they're probably relatively common. But I imagine their ears can come in a lot of varieties of shapes. I'll be, like, loosely doodling some OCs as they come up. Mostly because this is just me rambling about potential lore that I could work with. And so that kind of plays into how I feel about Ether Genesis's design. Some of the idea was that, like, yeah, there's like a kind of a... Elphalis' head is a little more round. I mean, I might want to make this... Come on, cooperate with me. Make this, like... Ugh. Less overtly pointy. But it's one of the ideas that that's been bopping around in my head was, instead of just having two eyes on either side, being it more like, making it like kind of weird, a little gross, like a radial symmetric look. Not the right. My coordination is way off. I haven't drawn in a while. Like a fucked up, like, almost like Demogorgon way she opens her face. But, like, every time I think about her, I keep thinking about her in Elphalis's, silhouette, so I keep thinking of, like, wing ears. And I'm not sure if I want to lean into that for Ether Genesis specifically. I know I'm giving her a doomer tail. I'm giving her, like, the peacock, quills that doomers have. Do I want to give her, like, the thin, spindly legs? That's kind of where I was going, where I was, like... She's, like... like, extremely slim. Maybe I could, like, give her, like, a stupidly long neck. That'd be fun. Where the idea would be, like, the silhouette would be kind of like this. Are her arms connected? Like, another idea was, like... Where, like, instead of the wing ears, it's sort of like... She has these, like, wing-like protrusions from her shoulders that are technically all arms. And they would sort of... surround her in the same way that Elphalis' ears can. So she'd have maybe like a bit of a jellyfish silhouette going on. I'm not sure if I'll give her the full fanned feathered tail. Maybe I'll just do, like, the quills by themselves. maybe give her like a little tuft in the back for them to come out of. You hopeful they'll do more of these guys in the next Kirby game? No, actually. Because every time they revisit old stuff, they will fuck with my existing headcanons. And as much fun as I have coming up with new shit to fit around whatever they have going on, it's hard. I really want to give her a neck. Do I want to, like a little neck that, like, ends and floats? Or to just give her, like, make her neck, like, obnoxiously thin. Like, twiggy. But having her silhouette roughly resemble an Ether Walker, I feel... maybe not, like, quite as, like, furry thighs quite as much. Like, maybe still digitigrade, but not quite as beefier around the thigh and shin area. Or I could always do, like, a weird abstracted form where it's, like, the thigh is just, like, a circle, and then there's, like, another, like, spear of light, and it just kind of loosely represents it. Honestly, I have no idea what they'll do for the next Kirby game. I imagine they're going to take the Forgotten Land engine and expand on it. But, like, story-wise, I don't fucking know what they're doing. Yeah, baby! I'm talking about dumb Kirby lore ideas. Could, like, lean even harder into the abstract and just have her, like, give, like, these little, like, spaghetti limbs. It's hard trying to make a character design for actual literal God. It's difficult, especially since she's not even really going to be important to the story. Like, she's lore important, she's lore significant, she's just not present. Because I'm trying to generally maintain things as canon-focused as I can. There's no consistent way to focus on waiting on their next announcement. See, yeah, that's my take on Kirby. I feel like they, unless they're doing a remake, or whatever the fuck Star Allies was, like, an anniversary thing. Star Allies was, like, a big, like, send-off to the previous 3 games, and also, like, the entire rest of the franchise. And we're like, yeah, from here on, we're gonna keep going bigger and better and trying out new things. And that's good for them. I think a new Kirby game will be announced on April 2nd. I don't know, but that would be very cute. They might announce something. It might not be a new game, but they like to do shit for their anniversaries. Hello. Tablet, please work for me. Bong Shaw. Please. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the spaghetti legs anymore. Because with Void having elements that are, like, recognizably human and recognizably avian, and a little bit recognizably, Artiodactyl related. Are rhinoceroses and Artiodactyls? I don't know what the fuck. I think Artiodactyls are even-toed ungulates, and I think rhinoceroses are odd-toed, like horses are. So, any number of, like, head crest things. I'm not sure if I'm feeling horns for her. I feel like that's gonna be more of a general, Ethan Walker trait. I mean, she could have horns, but if I'm going with the freaky radial asymmetric, thing, then maybe the idea would be, like, horns. I don't like that look, actually. Little bit too Deoxys there. Although, I could do Deoxys in a different respect, with, like, weird hip protrusions. I still haven't fixed my Drossia headcanons either. Gone way back and forth on them over the years. I also don't... Do I want to do the fantail with the quills? Ganium gets regional form. I mean, it'd be nice if all of the Kalos starters got regional forms for ZA. Or at least Megas. The more I think about it, the more I feel like Helpless-style horns could totally work for her. Especially because the idea is that she's basically Void's sister, and they kind of mirror each other in that respect, and they could maybe be, like, bug antennae a little bit. To be fair, Meganium could get a, like, it's not impossible for a Mega to get a slightly new stat spread. For example, Mega Garchomp, has higher attack, but reduced speed, and that resulted in... that resulted in base Garchomp still keeping relevance by giving it Choice Scarf instead, because it, going Mega with Garchomp means it would lose the opportunity to outspeed certain threats. And so they had, different uses. And Meganium could be the same way. They could pivot with and rebalance Meganium. And also, I feel like they've been doing things like giving Pokemon rebalanced stat spreads, like, within generations and, like, patches, so we'll see. They could just give they could just tweak Meganium's base stats. Yeah, Poplio instead of Totodile would have made a little more consistent sense. I was surprised that they picked two starters from the same region. Give her more bug features, but that might be a little... No bug features, because Morpho is, like, their balancing act. Because if she's creation and Void is destruction, Morpho is change. And Morpho's already a butterfly. So making Ethergenesis a little too buggy might defeat the purpose. I could probably take some, like, inspiration from, like, Snidarians or something. Maybe plants. Plants might be a little too on the nose, but there's nothing wrong with, like, a little weird, like weird plants, like some kind of tendril or something that has a bunch of, like, leaves on it or something. And another thing I had in mind was, like, maybe potentially, like, you know how some beetles have antennae that kind of, like, got, like, weird little lobes on them. Makes them look like they have antlers. I can't really. A little rusty. But, I just need to start drawing again. Actually, do I have certain pictures on my machine? Where is he? Yeah! I have a couple void spawn gods. I can get a little silly. My fucking thing. What is my tablet going? Oh, okay. Cooperate with me. Dog, what do you mean no device connected? I don't want... Okay, no, 58%. We're gonna have to let you do your thing. Let me see. Edit. Canvas. Rotate / flip canvas. 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise. These are some... I probably think I did these in college. This picture's a little fucky, because, like, you can see the edge of the sketchbook there. I'm not so this character is one of Void's children. One of Void's firstborn twins, in fact. Twins with the Master. Luf Kazash. Alternatively known as Lord Kazaa. The drafts are pretty old. They're also pretty directly based on Void. You can kind of tell some of the obvious... you could tell some of the obvious, inspirations. I'm not sure if I want to... I might stick with the 4 eyes for Luf Kazash. Yeah, I don't really know if I have anything to clarify on him tonight. He's mostly... most of the lore stuff is for him that I have is like, oh yeah, he's like... He lives in Halkandra's core, he's associated, he inspired several, of their religions, he's the one who stabilized the genomes of the Earth animals that were flung to Halkandra during the disruption, and that's kind of how the whole, all the stuff got started, and that's why he has, like, the, satyr-looking vibes and hooves instead of just floating. Because I was fiddling with, the idea that Halkandrans have, like, a bit of goat in them, which gives them the horns. But since they don't have legs, nothing else really shows. But if they did have legs, they would have hooves. And that is a thing that I'm going to be annoying and insistent about, because I think it's cool. But yeah, these doodles... I like this top one. The cloak, where he's got the cloak closed. I did some good shapes. I like the flowy. I like the way I did the fire. He's very associated with fire, because he lives at the core of the planet. Do not save. I think I am gonna keep giving him those little, like, stripes on his ruff, and I think I'm gonna stick with the neck ruff being fur instead of feathers. If they're feathers, they're probably more like proto-feathers, if anything. He very much looks like his dad. It's your boy Kasua's, meat spaghetti fiber optic internet. That's the general thing. He's like a god of communication. What I should consider what's going on out in... Because, like, hang on. Do I have... I'm gonna go to Wikirby and see if they have any images I could paste into... Got screenshots of either Heroes in Another Dimension, True Arena and background environments from... Magalog stuff, Heroes in Another Dimension, shit from Return to Dreamland. That's the concept art. Yeah, sphere doomers are mostly just birds. They're weird sphere birds that are also, like, split in half. You got True Arena. Do you have any interesting gallery screenshots, or am I gonna have to fucking boot up the Magalog myself? Does Wikirby have a gallery? Deluxe images. Show me the stuff. Might not be screenshots of it. There are some really cool environments in the background of the True Arena weight rooms. Yeah, a lot of shit going on in the Magalog is, very much just, like, out in the middle of fucking nowhere as far as, Sphere Doomers are a lot like Sigilith. The Magalog takes place out in, like, the middle of nowhere, like, truly, like, out in the space boonies, very much in between where anything happens. There are some, like, weird space things. There's, like, some cool, like, hang on. Not actually. Oh. That's because there are multiple pages to this wiki. That's the Crowned Doomer. There's the fight against the Master Crown as Gem Apple Tree. Yeah, that is all Space Boonies all the time. A lot of the other dimension-y stuff we see in Forgotten Land is very much just like pocket dimensions that Forgo cooked up. Do you have any screenshots? Wikirby, do you have any screenshots? Space Boonies, Space Boonies. I love the Space Boonies, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. Ooh, Magoland concept art? That's Magoland concept art. Let me see. I'm gonna look at that one. That is super cute. It's also very low res. It's super low res. Where'd it go? Where'd I put it? Or did I put it over here? Whoop. No, that's Elphalus again. Yeah. I like how, I'm gonna zoom way in because it's super fucking low res. This was a concept for Magoland. I like how it floats. It's almost kind of built like the Fountain of Dreams. I like how the top looks like the Lore Starcutter's, helm. Not the helm. It looks like the, I can't imagine it's the cockpit because I'm convinced that the lore is bigger on the inside, but it's a neat little piece of art. That's cool. Back to my search through weird shit. Ooh, I could discuss some things further with that I have. Promo art, animations of Kirby. Not the buttons I wanted to press. Ugh. Where did I put you? No. Yep. Bing boom, bing boom, boom. We're gonna talk about the couple of the Halcandra specific enemies. I've already decided what the Halcandra Ds are. I don't think I've ever like gone into too much detail about Halcandran gene bending and how that relates to some of their political decisions during the ancient imperial era. That's a lot of main story. Yep, final boss stuff. Sad galore. Icons. That's the Master Crown fight, which has, like, vision of madness in the background. Y'all got true arena shit? Load, goddamn you! Wow. This is the one with lyrics. I'll leave it on. Fuck it. Why not? It's Psy Blue, which is more Space Boonies. Magic, Sectonium-esque, Raisin Ruins. What is this? Where am I, in terms of... Can never to this day get any effective names right. Yeah. That's fair. I have given a little bit of thought where how, like, Forgo is technically, as far as I'm concerned, Elphalus is dead. The entity that Elphalus was is gone. It's just Elphalin and Forgo now. Oh, did I clicked around wrong. That's True Arena logos. Are you going to give me, can you give me True Arena backgrounds? That's the True Arena Metalor Soul fight, where they took his fucking eyes. They took his eyes! Am I gonna have to fucking... I'm not gonna fight through the True Arena just to grab screenshots right now. Maybe later, though. I also want to pull some shit from other previous Kerbo games. There's just some cool backgrounds in Kirby, just in general. Those are whole level layouts, okay. That is a straight render of... What is that? Lasers. At the ethereal altar. This is graphic design. Yeah, no, it's not there. So there were some, like, there were a lot of, like, actually, I went through... There a gallery for heroes in another dimension? Because Heroes in Another Dimension has some funky background elements that will help further cement how I feel about, like, places that are in the space boonies, but then there are places that feel like they could be environments unto themselves. That is ya boy being acclaimed by the demons. Where, levels? Do you have individual levels? Yes, you do. Show me them individual levels. Woo! That's... Yeah, there are the fucking mushrooms. Oh! They put mushrooms in another dimension, and that makes me very happy. I don't know why, but it does prove to me... I mean, they might not be mushrooms, they might be some other thing, but they're kind of mushroomy enough that, like... It feels like a specific environmental element that makes it more than just space in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. So there can be weird environments out in another dimension, and I think that's cool. And I feel like those are the kinds of places where the various critters from another dimension just kind of live, and then the etheric medium is just like just kind of like the space between places. Is that more? That's not mushrooms. Show me mushrooms? I think that might be the best shot we got. I also think it might be the only, like, thing that twiddled my brain. Then the final dimension here is another dimension is, it's just a busted up, divine terminus with, so the space-time melting in the background. True Arena stream? I would, not tonight, but I would love to marathon as many True Arenas as I can. That'd be fun. But, there's those fucking things. These things. And so my headcanon for what, Elphalis was doing, prior to Forgotten Land that was considered attacking, like, wildlife, was, they were terraforming, because they were trying to find a new place for their clan to live. And because another dimension is fucking weird, that's gonna be very strange to experience from someone who lives on a terrestrial planet and not in the middle of, like, weird, dreamy space nonsense. But yeah, there's like a rough True Arena environment. There's, like, got a couple of platforms. But, like, and it's got, like, the platforms are, like, made of, like, these bricks that are all, like, together. They're all kind of, like, chunky and weird. But, in the background, there's just, like, this tangle of, like, neon green vines. They're, like, it's almost like a minty color. And I think it's one of the later environments you see. I think it might have been in the original Return to Dreamland as well. It's just higher res in Deluxe. There's, like, it's weird. It's almost like a bramble of, like a tangle of alien vines. I think there are like some purple details in there too, but I can't remember if they're stones or flowers or like buds or leaves on the tendrils or whatever. And then there's another really compelling image from... It's just the title screen of the True Arena in Return to Dreamland, where it's like this kind of like, almost like this rocky hole in the ground, and then you look up into the sky, and like there's like weird like plants and like alien shit going on, but it's like, it's a place you never go. It's just a cool alien looking environment. And then there's like a star in the distance with like a accretion disk and like a little ring of asteroids or planetoids or something up in the sky. But I wonder if that is anywhere in baseline reality, or if that's also just somewhere off in another dimension. Where did I... Right, I had these little guys. So... I had decided a while ago that bouncies were just, like, robots. They're weird little toy constructs. The Halcandrid version is similar. I had conveniently went ahead and made, like, a major god figure in Halcandrin culture directly related to Void Termina. So that does help explain why they got those little hurt mask faces. However, that's a little too sharp, actually. That's Void. And then the design I had going on was... That's Lorcazar. But this little guy looks more like Void than he does his kid that's actually relevant on Halcandra. So it makes you wonder. I imagine the faces are going to be like little totemic, like they're probably still toy constructs like the bouncies are. But I wonder how I would go about explaining why they look more like Void than the god that I actually assigned to Halcandra. And there might be, like... Of course, there could always be Eldritch prophecies involved. My headcanon is that initial worship of Void Termina started on Halcandra as, like, a counterculture movement when, some of the culture got a little weird towards the end of the Imperial era. People got real mean to each other. Political commentary. Wow! So it's possible, but also it's possible that the way Void worked his way into this culture, which became the Terminus cult, which were then blamed for a big fucking magical disaster, and then they were banished and became the Jambandrins. I wonder if there were some elements of Void, like, subconsciously thrown into things that people, like, got divine impulse visions and then mixed them up with each other and, got Lorcazar mixed up with, like, some of his immediate family or something. And that's why this little guy looks more like a guy who wasn't... I mean, to be fair, we see these dudes on Halcandra in the present day. And I wonder if the time between the collapse of the Novan Empire and the present day would have allowed culture to shift. I mean, of course it would have had to. It's been like 1,000 years. It's like the shortest amount of time I've managed to keep them called ancients and keep them properly ancient so that the name actually fits. But I don't want to overdo the length of time involved, because the more the longer I do it, the greater the cultural shifts I'll have to account for. And that's a pain in the ass. These little dudes, animals. They're bugs. They're like a weird fucked up bug that's a little bit like a bird mimic. You ever heard of the, hummingbird hawk moth? It's kind of like that. They have like a weird, actually, how high res is that? What is going on? What's going on there? I think that might just be like a weird shadow messing with their texture, and they just have, I was thinking like they have like like the yellow part of their faces, like, I don't know how much that like sticks off and is like their head versus like the rest of them, because then they have like the little mustache, the little white mustache part makes them look like more like a bird than they look like a bug. But I think they're pollinators. I know they're pollinators. I know that much because they're big fucking. We're getting so deep in the headcanon we're trying to account for reusing enemies for time management. Yeah, but they changed their designs to make them slightly more alien. But if I'm gonna fill out the world and make them, like... If I'm gonna fill out the world and the species in it, I'd like to use what we have, you know? And I haven't fully, like, gone through every single Kirby enemy out there. That is something I'm gonna have to do eventually, to some degree. I still haven't decided if the Bronto... I mean, I kind of have to, right? I personally haven't fully decided if Bronto Burts are people or not, or if they're just animals. I feel like the implications we get is that they're more people-y than not, but I don't know. But there are a lot of critters that are just out and about in Kirby, like Terran, the little dude named Terran. He's a pterodactyl that's also just like a head. He looks dumb, but he's just like the head of a pterodactyl, and he's got little wings. And that's all he is. And he's cute. And he's just an animal that lives on that's from Neostar. And I love him very much. I'm gonna leave him there. I'm also gonna fill in his eyeball a bit. And now he looks a little too scary, so we're gonna give him a little bit of eye shine. Because I need him to be cute. Terran, my beloved. But, this thing is almost like it's almost kind of like the, I'm not sure how much I'm gonna, like, change the anatomy of these dudes, but, at least extend it so that it's not just ball with texture. But, this is more of a proboscis, for, like, pollinator purpose. There's like mouth parts buried under there. And one of the suggestions when I was talking with some of my Kirby friends, one suggestion a friend gave was their faces are yellow because that's all pollen, and so they'll be like in like a flower or something. Ooh, heavy lobster. But they'll just be like and then that's how they pollinate. They just shove their whole faces into these flowers. I've just bounced from tangent to tangent. We started on Aetherwalkers. I think I mentioned offhand that, I saw someone who was, like, going through, like, a themed challenge, daily challenge for a month, designing as many of Elphalis' species as they could. And, one of the examples I saw, because I never looked any further, I'd like to look further, but I just have their page offhand. And, one of the examples I saw was, it's late. One of the examples I saw was shark-based. It was kind of like, like, smooth-skinned and, like, gray and flippery instead of fuzzy bunny thing. And I thought that was really interesting, and I feel like that's the kind of direction I want to go with the Aetherwalkers, because they're weird magical freaks from beyond the universe, and they just kind of bounce around in the intercosmic medium, so it doesn't make sense for them to be limited to any one kind of body, you know? Like, they don't breathe. They don't need to breathe. That's not part of their biology. They're more magic than not. And so they could probably get away with having all sorts of, integuments. Just, like, skin, various scale types, fur, feathers. I'm not sure. One of Elphalis' whole deals was that they would wrap their ears around themselves. And that would be like their defensive status, and they would also heal during that time. And I wonder if that's like a universal thing, and if so, should I give them all at least some kind of big, flappy, flippery thing that they can surround themselves with, whether that's ears, or wings, or their tail, or something along those lines. Because I don't want it to be just ears. That tends to be where the fandom is going with that, because they're... To be fair, I understand wanting to stick with the anatomy, because they're really like, oh yeah, maybe this species is more limited, because the big ears are very iconically Elphalis. So if you have another thing with big ears like that, that's built kind of the same as them, that's enough of like a visual cue to say, yeah, this is a critter of the same species. I do want to get a little bit fucking weird with it. What else? Another thing that's been bugging me lately was, I've been bitching about, Triple Deluxe related things to myself lately. And, blah, 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 blah. One of the things I was bitching at, like, Triple Deluxe related stuff is, like, Tyran's whole deal, Sectonia's whole deal. I'm still salty that she's just that Sectonia's spider form is just a palette swap of Tyranza, especially because I had a ton of headcanons in the immediate wake of Triple Deluxe. And that's primarily because I was a teenager at the time and deep in the throes of headcanon brain. So it was... But then Robobot kind of rolled in and fucked shit up, and Robobot's hard for me to think about. Incidentally, Forgotten Land gave me some things to chew on, and I think that could maybe... I have to think about Holtonworks' place in the galaxy, and what the shit is going on outside of, the main star systems. Because I had a system where, like, oh, yes, there's there's, like, the galaxy, which it's functionally the Milky Way, because I've envisioned the setting as, like, post-apocalyptic, magical apocalypse of our universe, so it's just the Milky Way. So you've got, like, where it is, where the fucking Perseus arm is. And then, like, galactic scale is fucking huge, but Kirby likes to throw around the word galaxy a lot. So I imagine that by way of portals, different parts of the galaxy got settled, where they could just, like... I imagine they settled around their, like, places in the galactic arm, in the local galactic arm, the Perseus arm to start with. But, Alcandra's just off in its own, like, little dimension. Even though it's technically it was the capital of the Empire. But it was just its own little thing. And it could only access everything around... True, the planets around Popstar are different in every game, and my headcanon puts them in about, like, 2 to 3 different star systems. I can't remember if I have a drawing on hand that explained that, and if it was digital or not. Because if not, I needed to digitize something like that, because I know... I had a fucking thing where it is just rearranged, with our sun, because Popstar is Mars, Ripple Star is Venus, Sky High is Uranus, I think? Uranus? Saturn got split into Halcandra's star system for dumb bullshit reasons. I think I decided that I wanted Half Moon to be Jupiter? But, like, shit got, mixed around. I don't know if Floria... Because you have the star system... You've got the 64 star system, and you've got the superstar. The superstar star systems. So you've got Aquastar, you've got Aquastar, Rockstar, who is Rockstar, Aquastar, Neostar, Shiverstar. Shiverstar is just Earth, but it got, like, yeeted out to the end of the solar system. And the only reason it's at a habitable temperature is because of a magical barrier that the angel put down. Because Earth is special. It was the birthplace of it was the only place with known life in the universe, and that's why a bunch of other organic life in the setting is just all extremely derived Earth life. So you've got Star got tossed into the Oort cloud. And then you got Venus basically went and to where Earth used to be. And you got Popstar. But then you have, like, I still haven't decided if I wanted the Mercury equivalent to be Hotbeat. If Hotbeat just is Mercury. Or, I mean, it could have gotten fucked up. It's, like, it's not above my headcanon to radically change a planet's size in the disruption. Because the disruption was so fucking insane that it caused the universe is bleeding. Why do you think Alcandra's flat? Flat is, a relative term. It is very mountainous, but it is in a situation where it is weird floating island planet instead of sphere, like a normal gravitationally bound planet is. Please ignore these freak shapes because those are all magical barriers. Another thing, I feel like I've already gone into bits, like the last time I streamed about my headcanon, I think I went into some of my thoughts about the planets. Like, I'm not sure if I want Aquastar and Aqualis to be the same planet. I'm kind of leaning towards same planet, different names. Because Aqualis, which was then, it was renamed to Aquarius, and Aquarius is a very, like, human mythology. He's not a flat earther. Everyone knows that in this setting is that the Earth is spherical. He just lives on a different planet that happens to be flat. Like, he's aware of spherical Halcandrids are aware of spherical planets and why they are like that. Because there is not enough magic bullshit going on for a planet like a it's basically a floating continent. It's actually very small. But, and even then, with the whole, like, edge thing, gravity gets weird around the edges. Like, you can't really fall off the bottom of Halcandra. But gravity is a bit fucky down there. You won't get yeeted into deep space, but it's like moon gravity down there. Whereas, gravity on the upper surface is a little more Earth-like. An important thing is I need to remember where I decided to put Floria from Superstar Ultra. Because, Floria, I decided that Floralia from Triple Deluxe is like a cultural enclave from Floria, and that, like, the species and peoples of Floralia are, like, originated on Floria. And it would make sense if it would make sense for that, like, cultural exchange and that big migration to happen if they were within the same star system. But I'm, based on what I have, like, for this, like, fucking... There's, like, for example, I have, like, Sky High. I can't remember if I made Sky High... No, I made it Uranus. And that's because Uranus was the titan of the sky. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a blue ice giant that we have. Don't ask why it's so warm now. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Half Moon as Jupiter. With most of the shenanigans going on being people setting on its immediate moons. And not actually on the planet proper, because it is a gas giant. Sky High gets a pass because it's one of those places with a fuck million walkable clouds. Because magic can just do that to shit. Pluto is still, like, over here. Pluto and Charon. Like, out as Kuiper Belt objects. I don't know what happened to Neptune. What happened to Neptune? Did the Master eat Neptune? What the fuck happened to Neptune? Because Saturn got yeeted to Halcandra's mini-dimension. So another thing I had issue with was, there's some time dilation shit going on in Forgotten Land. I have some cool story explanations for that, where, like, the reason the portals seemed so much further apart on the Forgotten Land side of things than they did on the Dreamland side of things is because Effecto Forga was imprisoned in a lab for so long that they forgot how time worked. And that's really sad and interesting, but then I have to think about, like, time and, like, which time stream everyone is on. Because one of the ideas I had was that the Forgotten Land is just some planet out in the middle of bumblefuck nowhere that eventually lost contact with the Empire and had to become self-sufficient. So it was settled during Imperial times. I mean, I can't imagine. I feel like they would have, as far as colonizing the Milky Way, they might have, like, gone a little bit closer to the galactic core, and that's where shit got weird. But the deal with time is that, Forgotten Land. Oh, that is the worst pop star I have ever drawn. Hang on. Fuck that. Hang on, I have a funky brush for that? Do I have a sticker? Do I have a funny little sticker? Give me the funny sticker. Not good enough? Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. What? I'll change some colors, why not? Evil pop star. If there's time fuckery going on between the two, then I can't, and if they are along a similar time stream, basically, if this is in the same, like, baseline universe as Popstar, then it needs to be outside the observable universe, basically. Which means, and as far as we know, scientifically, like, we call shit the observable universe because it's all we can see based on the speed of light, but it's possible that there's even more shit past that. But the reason the time fuckery would cease to matter at those distances, despite being in the same universe and therefore operating on similar timescales, is not just relativity. Well, yes, it's relativity related, because of how time dilation and shit works. But if they're causally separated by that distance because they are further than the speed of light can travel within the age of the universe between them, then that means time fuckery between the two won't actually be a problem. And also my headcanon is that Elflin stabilizes the time streams between the two, but we still have to account for Forgo going sicko mode on time itself. And one of my main headcanons was that this place got settled by, like, it might have been, like, one of the furthest colonies that the Novan Empire ever settled. Because, are you not playing because you're asking me? Video pause, yes. Let me listen to the music. Time. Yeah, I think I might deal with it being, like, an experimental colony that is way, way, way out. Like, basically seeing how far their portals could go and still, bring them someplace interesting. Without necessarily going to another universe. I don't know what they would have done if they started going into the universe. Because my headcanon accounts for, the Metroid universe being part of this broader multiverse, but outside of this specific localized chunk of multiverse that the Kirby series takes place in, because of, like, the cosmically fucked up nature of it. And I wonder, they probably had, like, charts and shit in place to keep themselves sane as far as, like, choosing things so they wouldn't, like, fling themselves into a universe that wasn't, it didn't have compatible laws of physics and immediately evaporate themselves. And so... Oof. Oof. My brain is ceasing to brain. I need to go to bed. And another reason I was... Since Moonstruck Blossom is playing, I might as well fuck around with, like, being frustrated that Sectonia's spider form is just a palette swap of Taranza. So... Probably still had a pretty strong hourglass figure even before she was a wasp. But I don't want to just give her, like, Taranza's spider cape again, because I think that's bullshit. And I'm willing to believe that the reason it showed up like that is because Stardream fucked some shit up in its attempts to revive her as a toy for Meta Knight to fight. And also, technically, Robobot was where we learned that all of these side story modes, like Meta Nightmare Returns, are technically non-canon. And... which does mean I can pick and choose whether they're canon. I feel like she doesn't go full princess until, like, she doesn't do this until she is a bug. Well, she's always a bug, but until she's like a bee. I don't think she has the full collar yet. She does have, like, that little, like, fur scarf thing going on, so maybe I could incorporate that somehow. Could also just go with... I mean, Taranza also has a scarf. Does Taranza's scarf go... Oh, I have a plushie of him right next to me. Yeah, his scarf does in fact go over his cape. So if he's, like... Stinger, or Spinnerets, or whatever... He's got spiderweb cape. I'm not gonna fucking draw a whole Taranza, but his scarf goes over his cape, and he's, like, folded it like a little cravat, so... So... Sectonia probably has similar enough horns. I might alter her horn mandibles in shape a little bit. I'm not sure if they should be smaller, larger, or the same. More scythe-like in shape, potentially. I don't know how you get much more scythe-like than what Taranza actually has going on canonically. She probably does have... I imagine, like, the whole cape setup is probably a reasonably common, like, fashion statement. Or at least, like, an option. Huge eraser. Make it smaller, please. Not that small. Ugh. Another thing I want to fiddle with is her hairstyle. She has a slightly different hairstyle than Taranza. And she's also got little eyelashes. Wart. She looks like some kind of mid-2000s Invader Zim character if I'm not getting the fucking eyeballs right. Normal shape. Normal shape. That's kind of alright. Yeah, she's got a little... on the glowy borders of her eyes. I think her hairstyle is like more... it's like more of a bob cut, whereas Tron's has got more of like a bowl cut going on. He's like... I've got a weird fucking shape going on here. He's like angled weird. It's your boy, the bowl cut intellectual Spoder. Dumb little Toronto. He's cute. Like, I feel like Spider Sectonia's hair tends to be... ugh, circles. Ooh, Mort. It's got like a little bit of volume towards the bottom. Like, it'll be mostly the same at the top. Like, canonically speaking, at least. Maybe I should give her more of a part. I need to look up references of her actual model. And the old friend mask from Return to Dreamland Deluxe. But it's like more of a swish out rather than the hard Hime cut that Taranz is going with. I'll probably give her like more voluminous bangs. Look her up. I'm gonna look her up anyway. Yeah, they didn't bother to give her a different... It looks like she's textured a little differently color-wise, but they changed... Yeah, she has different shaped horns. She's always had different shaped horns. Okay, so that about her is at least unique enough. Come on. Come on. Come on, tablet. Taranza's got, like, the very specific, like, spider, mandible look. And she's got, like, they kind of curve a bit. Which will be useful in differentiating them. I'm glad they at least have different horns. I totally forgot about that. Not quite this. I'm not... They think they point more upwards in this official model that I'm looking at. Those are sprite screenshots. Show me the Taranza gallery. I want to compare their hairstyles. Yeah, different enough. Kind of. Spooter. I forgot he's got like a little point in the back. It's like a little. Does Septonia have that? Yeah, she does. She's got a little point in the back. She got a little point in the back. Honestly, if I actually bother to define her figure a bit, then yeah, already she looks more distinguished. Yeah. Just giving her the exact same scarf and cape as Taranza pissed me off a little bit. He's got the loopy-doos. They couldn't give her, like, a slightly different pattern. She's got, like, a middle part that Taranza doesn't have. Which is slightly better at... I don't like the yellow eyes, though. I'm gonna make them a different color. That's a different person. Why do they look so similar? I might also, like, restyle her names. TBH. TBH. Na, 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 na. But like if we're going with the same cloak, look. Oop. Oop. Shapes, please. I'll call it a little bit classier, a little more like dress or suit like. And then give her like bugs look very similar to another. That's what you want to say. That's what you think. I've seen people design characters of this species that look very different. You can get away with quite a bit, actually. I feel like you could probably, like... I think one of the things I want to do is, like... Actually, let me look at a fucking reference for the actual bug lady. Show me pictures of Queen Sectonia. So like the layered frilly look. And like have the frills on her cape as well. Probably lean in some similar colors. I need to fucking rewrite some of the headcanons going in for Triple Deluxe immediate backstory. I also want to reference what does this represent? The whole thing. Okay. I know. Well, this is like the shittening that's going on with where the Empire lives. As far as Jambandra goes, they have some differences, unlike Waddle Dees. Fair. Fair and reasonable. I imagine Waddle Dees can tell each other apart. And also they're getting better about letting Waddle Dees come in more colors. They come in different shades of brown. Kind of like humans. Different shades of brown and tan. Like, I feel like either the Jamvandrans are gonna get banished to the Galactic Rim, but I feel like they would get banished to the Galactic Rim on the other side of the galaxy. Just to, like, make sure that they have no friends. Because, Halkandra was real mad about the shit that went down. I stole her wig. Honestly, lads, I think it might be time for me to go the fuck to sleep. I've hit just under 2 hours. I fiddled with some stuff. I talked about some different things that were bugging me. Things that were not bugging me, but things that I might want to have some interest in actually doing something about. I think I might... The more I call Elfliss's species the Ether Walkers, the harder I lean into it. I think the name is sticking. I think the name is sticking. I think we're gonna go with the Ether Walkers for Elfliss's species. And Fecto Elfliss, like, that's just their full name. Fecto is part of their name. Elfliss of the Fecto tribe. Yes, there are others like them. But that's like their immediate family and the clan folk, as opposed to the whole species, because the etheric medium is very big, and there's a lot of room for a lot of different people to fuck around and live and set up shop. Because it's bigger than the universe, because it is outside of the universe, because universes exist inside of it and are born from inside of it. Another thought I had was, like, what if the Ether Walkers had some, maybe, like, very distant influence on, like, the creation of new universes, but I'm not sure about that. I feel like that might just be more Ether Genesis personally getting up to that. I feel like that might be a little too godlike for characters that are supposed to be overmortals and not, like, full gods. Waddle-Dees probably have what we have in our brains that let us tell humans apart, and we just have prosopagnosia for Waddle-Dees. Yeah, see, exactly. I feel like that's going to be the case for any other sapient species. Where we'll be just hardwired to be able to pick out the differences in the phases of our own kind. Also, I imagine they look more different than what we see in-game, because I feel like in-game is necessarily going to be a simplification of the world it's showing to us, and that's why I get away with a lot of things in my headcanon. Like, giving characters slightly more realistic proportions, or assuming characters have bigger or smaller size differences. I wrapped up work on a height chart template a little bit ago. I should start slapping dudes onto it, so I have, like, a reference